What is happening with Stammer and Macron and their plans to send troops into Ukraine? Last reports are that Stammer is looking at 30,000 European troops in Ukraine should a ceasefire be agreed on. So the Europeans, led by the UK and by France, they're going to enter Ukraine as a peacekeeping force. Macron said that he doesn't care whether Russia agrees or not. He said Ukraine is a sovereign nation. If they invite us into Ukraine, there's a ceasefire and they invite us in to keep the peace, we're going in. Stammer gave a speech the other day and said that the UK is now moving into the operational phase of boots on the ground in Ukraine. And the Russians continue to send warnings to the Europeans and to the Americans. To the Americans, don't trust the Europeans. They're trying to sabotage our peace talks. And to the Europeans, don't step one foot in Ukraine. If you do, then you will be seen as enemy combatants and you will be quickly annihilated. Yeah. What are your thoughts on, on Macron and Stammer?
You're absolutely right. The Russians on this are absolutely clear. And Lavrov, as you discussed, gave that warning to the Americans just a couple of days ago. We discussed it in a previous program in which he said, don't trust the Europeans. The Europeans are trying to use the Ukrainians to trick you. And you must be aware of that, because obviously if you're not, then this whole process could unravel. And Medvedev has issued a ferocious message about all of this idea of peacekeepers and how in order for peacekeepers to enter into Ukraine, absolutely there has to be an agreement with Russia. And the Russians have already said that in order for peacekeepers to be able to enter Ukraine legally as peacekeepers, they must do so with the authorization of the UN Security Council, in which Russia has veto power. And if that isn't done, then they won't regard those troops who enter Ukraine as peacekeepers. So the Russian position could not be more clear. And they are repeating it even as we're making this program. So Starmer just plows on. He goes on planning this. Macron plows on. And you can see what the plan is. Get a ceasefire, any ceasefire. Get Zelensky to agree to deploy the peacekeepers.